My name's Ivan. I drive a 2008 BMW 335. So I bought the car end of 2012. This is my second 335. And I actually owned a automatic black 335 that I sold just to buy this one. I really wanted the manual with the Montego blue combination, and turns out that I found one. It's a Craigslist buy, cash buy that I basically made happen. I spoke to the guy, locked down a deal without really having the money yet, and then I scrambled to sell my automatic 335, and just pretty much showed up and picked up the car. And I basically had some basic bolt-on parts for it already. Downpipe, front mount intercooler, and charge pipe, and a JB4 at that time. Plans for it were just, drive it with some bolt-on parts, nothing special. And then started hanging out with the wrong crowd. So, it was the fastest car I had at that time, 400 horsepower. It's 23 years old. You think you're fast, right? And you start hanging out with the wrong people, and all of a sudden 400 is not enough. So back to the drawing board, started modifying the car, thinking a little bit more long-term what I really wanted. At that time, everybody was going big singles, and I really didn't want to lose the main reason why I bought the car, and that's because of the responsiveness of it. So I made up a plan, and I decided to keep my twins. What we have today is basically just your stage 3 19T turbos, and they've been great. My power is on demand, which is what I wanted of the car. So I'm very happy with that. The stage 3 turbos, and then I'm fueling them with a meth injection kit, partially pro meth. The other half I kind of pieced together myself. Never really found a solution that I liked 100%, so kind of built my own. I wanted braided lines. It's hard to find a bolt-on or a kit that's already made for the car, so I kind of pieced together my own kit. I have your typical Walbro fuel pumps, feeding the high pressure fuel pump. And so, started adding power to it. And then obviously as you add more power, everything else can't keep up. So had to upgrade, my front mount intercooler to a AD Engineering front mount intercooler. Clutch, I decided to go with the Motiv twin disc. That's after I went through one spec stage 3 clutch and a 335 IS clutch. So I decided just to move over into a twin disc. It's just more reliable, and it has been, as long as you keep it under 20 pulls, as we found out. My clutch is getting out, bro. Suspension, I have, it's really a very basic build, but it's she's been solid. She gets driven all the time. She's not like a car that sits in the garage half the year and comes out 2-3 months and then it breaks down. She's solid every day. I drive her, I beat on her every day. In my mind, it's a very basic build, but it puts out decent power for what it is. Suspension I have, so I was saying suspension, I have your basic BC racing coilovers. I did have to stiffen the chassis because I felt a lot of flex, particularly in the back end of the car. So I had a welder from Joe's Racing here in Everett fab up some bracing for the car, both front, rear. I did subframe bushings. We have M3 control arms in the front. We have M3 parts on the back of the car and on the rear. Suspension paired with some Megan Racing camber adjustment arms, and sway bars have been upgraded as well. Front calipers have been, or the front brakes have been upgraded, both rotor and caliper to the F30 M Sport calipers. The rear, I've done the modification to accommodate for 15-inch wheels. I used to run 17s, but there just wasn't enough sidewall on those 17s. You know, I was running a 275. Oh man, I can't even remember the size, but with a 17-inch, the car just doesn't allow for enough sidewall. So I had to do the 15-inch conversion kit, which I pieced together myself. Even the tires, I haven't seen very many people actually run the same 15-inch tire that I run. So obviously the car has a full catback exhaust, 2.5-inch from downpipes all the way to the back. Transmission mounts from RevShift. I have an RTD shifter. Actually one of my favorite mods to this day. With this being a manual car, you're always at a disadvantage versus an auto, especially on those shifts. So having the ability to, you know, shorten that shift time is definitely important, and it feels great. Slamming gears feels great. So I do have an RTD shifter, and I have a WOD box, so that allows me to do a lot of no lift shifting, and you know, the car loves it. It struggles less between shifts. On top of that, the RTD, I feel, retains the transmission in its true position during launches. I don't know if I mentioned this, but my methanol injection is triggered by an AEM controller. It's a very basic controller. There are various options out there for these cars that are super complicated, but I think those in trying to, less is more in this situation. My trigger is very simple. It just runs off boost. The more boost, the more meth you trigger, and it just works. It's very simple. It's either you know, on or off. It progressively injects based on boost. You're not messing with 3D maps. You're not. I see a lot of people buy complicated triggers and they never get the car off. You know, they never get the car out. I kept it simple. Less is more. I've enjoyed the car since. It's been on that controller since, and it just works. I do have a Helix overdrive. So what I was encountering is my turbos were spooling so fast that the methanol did not have enough time to get into the cylinder combustion chamber. So I was pulling time on the hits, and I really hated that because it made my car feel like it was struggling to create power. So when I installed the overdrive high pressure fuel pump Helix, you know, I'm able to hold pressure on the car's OEM fuel system. And so what that allowed is it gave the car time to hold power, you know, for the meth to get in there and actually, you know, make big power. So the car it really feels like it's a freight train from the time you punch it. I really enjoy it. I hear a lot of people saying, I'm gonna go Helix instead of port injection, but I don't think one is a replacement for the other. If you're looking for big power, you kind of need both. What else? Wheels, I'm running AGs, M359s. Those are like my daily drivers, 19-inch, very heavy anchors, but I like how they look. So if you don't like them, I'm sorry. I don't like to talk about that because people always think they know my secrets. They think it's a build block. They think it's a build block, but it's not. It's still in its true form a 335 block. It's stock compression. You know, you can go. It's the same block that everybody else is running. Yes, it's my second one because I did, you know, have trouble with cylinder one a few years ago. My fault, no one else's. But yeah, you learn from your mistakes, and I've had this motor in for 3 years now, and I've pushed it beyond what it should be capable of, and it's holding. But at the same time, I'm very careful about how I do it. I'm always watching things. I can tell when there's something wrong, and I lay off. I mean, I'm sure in the video that we shot, had a misfire. I laid off right away because I felt it instantly. You know, came home, looked at it, turned out, you know, I had a solenoid problem. Swapped it out, saved my motor, because, you know, anybody else that just doesn't pay attention, they'll keep hammering it. And that's why you see a lot of, you know, scary stories about these cars. Yeah. When the temps are low, the car's like telling you, careful. Screams at you, actually. So we can get some second gear pulls, third gear pulls. Sure. What do you think?
How much boost right now?
About 28, 29 pounds. A little fluctuation between 28 and 29.
Cell phone tuner.
Yep.
Add some boost in there.
Mm-hmm. Get rid of the boost by gear. So.
Is that showing on this screen too?
Yeah, same thing. So getting rid of that, and it starts flashing.
What is that, like a tablet in there?
Basically it mirrors the screen of my cell phone.
Do you like watch movies on there?
You can, yeah, when the kids are in the car.
Watch YouTube?
I can. Yeah.
You got a danger to manifold, bro. You gotta stop right there. Tablet's tough. Clutch is gone, or are we gonna make it back to your house?
Yeah, we'll be fine. It's either that or it just got really hot because we've been doing multiple pulls. Yeah.
It's gotta be the most pulls you've done since like ever.
In a long time.
Cool down and we go get some races.
Maybe, yeah.
Garage built.
Yeah, garage built. Yeah, literally.
Maintenance okay?
Yeah. I mean, I struggle with fuel pumps, just the high pressure fuel pump,
yeah.
Just like anybody else in this platform does.
But the motor's pretty strong.
Yeah, motor's pretty strong. Can't really complain. It's definitely a good, for the power it makes, it's, I would say, budget friendly.
For sure.
Does require time.
Yeah,
but
you can work on it yourself.
Right, but I got more time than money nowadays, so. Yeah.